Welcome to the session, the Hindu Editorial Analysis for Proficiency in English. Today's editorial is all about the tennis great Nadal and his career coming to almost to an end on the eve of the French Open. It also touches other players, emerging players. In a nutshell, it is about the editorial. What is the enrichment from today's session? As usual, it is related to sports, the field of sports. You will improve your comprehension skill, a few important words, effective words, grammar consolidation, a few idioms are there, effective English based on that, and not mini mocks, vocabulary consolidation, yes. Let us start with the question, what is this about? This editorial discusses the 2024 French Open, focusing particularly on Rafael Nadal's unexpected early exit from the tournament and its broader implications. Implications we have got many a time, consequences and impact, negative impact usually. What is the tone of the editorial? The tone of the editorial is a reflective, an important word. A reflective means what? Thinking, something that makes you think, to make you think, reflect upon something, to make you think. And somewhat melancholic, an important word. Melancholic, melancholy, noun, melancholic, adjective. Very sad, depressing, an important word. And in the blues, an important idiom. When it comes to in the blues, you have to recollect another idiom. What is it? Monday blues. Do you know the meaning of Monday blues? Monday blues means what? Usually people enjoy over the weekends. For some Saturday, Sunday, for some only Sunday. After enjoying a lot, Monday morning they don't feel like going to the office. That is known as Monday blues. But in the blues means very sad. All these are important expressions. Let us go to editorial vocabulary. The very first word, spirit. Here you have to recollect he is in low spirits, he is in high spirits. Low spirits means they're depressed. High spirits, very active, very happy, and ecstatic. But spirit, part of speech noun, what does it mean? Meaning the non physical part of a person, which is seat of emotions and character, the soul. But more in this context, it is like emotions. Positive emotions, high spirits. Negative emotions, low spirits. Example, her spirit remained unbroken despite the hardships. Hardships we have got many a time. Means what? Problems. Usually, when a person faces a lot of hardships or problems, the spirit goes down. The sentence says, her spirit remained unbroken, remained the same, intact. Here you have to recollect the word her spirit, better expression. Her spirit remained intact, means no change at all, despite the hardships. And despite you have to recollect, I'm sure you all know, it doesn't take the preposition of. Synonyms, soul, essence, morale. Morale is an important word. At a given time, usually tough time, a difficult situation, how you feel, your confidence or self esteem. Imagine a war is going on and enemy is attacking fiercely, and this side a lot of people died. Then the morale of the soldiers comes down. Someone has to go and give a pep talk. Pep talk means what? Inspiring talk, motivating talk. And morale of soldiers has gone down. A typical example. Antonyms, not exactly here, all these words, in my opinion, don't go with the context. They go with the literal meaning. Prelude, pre means what? The prefix pre means before. You have to recollect one important word created by Indians. What is it? Prepone. Created as the opposite of postpone. When you tell 10 people of not the present generation, old generation, those who belong to 60s, 70s, 8 out of 10 may say the word prepone is wrong, but you have to tell them it is right. In 1972, it became part of standard British English. 2000, not a small number. Prelude, an action or event serving as an introduction to something more important. Main thing, in spite of these three separate words. Imagine something main event, the one before that. It is like introduction. Key word here, introduction. Example, the dark clouds were a prelude to the storm. Before the storm, we see dark clouds. So it is like a storm is on the way. Introduction, preface, overture. Overture, an important word. Preface also, I'm sure you all know. Antonyms, conclusion, aftermath. Aftermath has a different connotation. Negative impact. Negative impact. After a particular incident, we use the word aftermath. Not exactly part of this context. Epilogue. This is also an important word. Let us go to crowning. Generally, we say crowning, glory. Crown as a noun has a different meaning. Crown is different, crowning is different. In a way related, part of speech adjective. Forming the triumphant culmination of an effort or endeavor. You put in a lot of effort, the final stage you achieve success, triumphant culmination, reaching the end. That is crowning moment of an effort or endeavor. Winning the championship was a crowning achievement of his career. Obviously, winning the tournament, winning the championship was a crowning achievement. Achievement, noun, crowning, adjective of his career. Synonyms are pinnacle, peak, supreme. Other words are easy words. Base, bottom, and this you have to remember. And opposite, we also use the word zenith. You have to recollect that word. Clinch has two different meanings. One meaning to hold tightly, to hold tightly. It goes with everyday English. Clinch someone's hand, hold tightly. But here, clinch as a verb, confirm or settle a contract or bargain. It goes with two different spheres or realms. One, yes, one Durga Rao, Zenith, I have written good. Today, Naidu is not there, our regular student who contributes a lot. And yesterday I could not take because I was down with a fever. That's the reason why I could not take the session. Sports sphere and also business, we use clinch a deal. They managed to clinch the deal, as I said, just before the deadline. Confirm or settle a contract or bargain. Another meaning when it comes to sports, win a title. Secure, finalize, confirm, simple words. Undo, release, break, not exactly same. Valedictory function, usually we say, what is the word we use with this? Function. Another word we use, speech. Part of speech adjective, serving as a farewell. When you join in a college, at the time of joining, there is one function. What is it? Inaugural. Inaugural function, welcome function. And what is opposite? Valedictory, farewell function. Coming to serving as a farewell, he gave a valedictory speech at his retirement party. Synonyms are farewell, parting, goodbye, all simple words. Welcoming, greeting, that is inaugural, an important word. Ravage goes with storm. and also a natural disaster or mishap or catastrophe. All these words are very important words. Also, calamity, nature related, cause severe and extensive damage to. Look at the example, the hurricane ravaged a coastal town, means damaged a lot. Devastating, destroy, ruin. All these two words are important. But when you see the word ruin as a verb, to damage or spoil, but as a noun we use it in the plural form, ruins. Remaining parts. Ruins means remaining parts of a monument. You don't see the complete monument, you see parts of a monument, then you have to use the word ruins. Important word. Repair, restore, rebuild. Very simple words. Adulation, an important word, a positive word. Excessive admiration. You like someone, simple word. You like a lot, you love someone. You like and respect, admire. You admire a lot, adulation. These are all degrees. Excessive admiration or praise. The celebrity enjoyed the adulation of her fans. Fans always go in for adulation, admiration. Praise, worship. This is a positive word. We cannot use a negative word like flattery. Under synonyms, we can use a praise or worship. Criticism, disdain, scorn, looking down upon. Important words, negative side. Stomping goes with the way you walk. Here, tread, an important word. It is a verb. What is the past form trod? Past participle, tread, trod, trodden. To step heavily. Tread heavily and noisily, typically in order to show anger. Usually, this goes with horses and sometimes elephants. Example, he came stomping into the room after the argument with heavy steps. Tramping, stamping, pounding. All these words are important words, but usage you got to be careful. Tiptoeing, gliding, creeping. Not exactly opposite, but you can consider. Almighty has two different meanings. I'm sure you all know Almighty means what? God, one word. Another meaning, having complete power, omnipotent, potential, potent means a power, force. Omni means, actually, omni means present everywhere. For God also we say omnipresent. Example, they prayed to the Almighty. Here it means God, mind you, for strength and guidance. But in the context of the editorial, it means have complete power. Omnipotent, I have just you. It is there. All powerful, supreme. Powerless, weak, feeble. When you see the word feeble, you have to recollect the word fragile. Anoint, we have got recently, part of speech verb. Smear or rub with oil, typically as part of a religious ceremony. Example, the priest anointed the new king. We got in the context of Ram Mandir in Ayodhya. Consecrate, we got this word. Under synonyms, we got that word. If you guys remember, sanctify, bless. Desecrate, opposite of that. Curse, a different word altogether. Profane. Subtle differences you have to know. Brittle also you have to recollect. Jagdish. Good. Abuse has three different meanings. Every time I tell, one, misuse of power. Second, shouting at someone using foul language. Third, ill treat someone. Here they have given the first one, use something to bad effect or for a bad purpose. Misuse, it goes with power, authority. Divya, now about those words, still I appreciate. Example, he was accused of abusing his power. The minister was abused of abusing his power. Misuse, mistreat, exploit. Respect, cherish, honor. These are important words. Overwhelming. Usually it goes with, when I ask a question, almost all the students respond. Then I say overwhelming response. Very great in amount, very strong or intense. The support from the community was overwhelming. The support, response, these are the combinations you have to remember. Immense, tremendous, overpowering, insignificant, mild, moderate. I'm sure you all know the word moderate. Quite often we ask the students, how was it? Typical answer, moderate. Let us go to the editorial. Not difficult to comprehend. Any editorial like this, basically it is about the sphere of tennis against the backdrop of French Open and the greatest player on clay court, Nadal. He is known as the king of clay courts. He has won the French Open 14 times, I suppose. It is very difficult to win one time, twice, thrice. 14 times, unimaginable. Earlier it was Ian Borg. He won 7 times, I suppose. He broke all the records. He is at the twilight zone, means what? At the fag end of his career because of injuries, body ravaged with injuries. And more about 80%, the major chunk goes about Nadal, his performance in the recent past. And after that, it touches other players, world number one, Novak Djokovic, and other emerging players. And every time editorial, what I have noticed, they start with men's players. They at the fag end they touch women players, and finally they touch Indian players. This is a broad framework. 14 out of 18. That is incredible, unimaginable. No one can, in my opinion, very difficult to break that. The last lap. A lap has two different meanings. When I sit, if I ask someone come and sit on my lap, means the area between my waist and the knees, that is known as lap. The baby is on the mother's lap, that is one thing. But this lap goes with the field of sports. One meaning, when you take a complete round from here to here, that is known as a lap. The last lap means the last round, you can say. On the French Open, Rafael Nadal's spirit no longer seems able to power his body. When you are tired, your spirit makes you sometimes work. But beyond a limit, your spirit also doesn't help your body to cooperate or achieve something. The sentence talks about that. Nadal's spirit, unbelievable. When he is losing, he puts in more effort, and he emerges victorious. But unfortunately, sometimes what happens, the spirit is one thing, your body is another thing. His spirit no longer seems able to power his body. Means he cannot survive in the long run in the field of tennis. The signs are quite obvious. For a good part of the last 2 decades, 20 years, everything at the French Open seemed like a prelude to one man's crowning moment on the concluding Sunday of the tournament. Every time for the last 20 years, 14 times, not a small number, every time that entire tournament like a prelude, introduction to the crowning moment, Nadal winning the championship and taking away the cup on the concluding Sunday of the tournament. This has been like a ritual for so many years. But unfortunately, the year 2024, however, contrasting information, has turned out. Recently, I have done so many editorials regarding elections, and we have come across this phrasal verb. I hope you guys remember. Along with this, I have also given turn up, show up. Turn out, we gave the meaning, you all know the meaning, a large number of people attending a particular event, turn out. But here, turnout has a different meaning, completely different meaning. Here, turnout means prove to be. Look at this. The year 2024, however, has turned out, proved to be differently for Rafael Nadal. who had clinched the singles title on 14 of his 18 prior visits. Prior, an important one. It takes a preposition. We have words like inferior, superior, senior, junior, preferable, elder, prior. All these take the preposition to. You have to recollect that. The singles title on 14 of his 18 prior visits. Has he made an emotional first round exit on Monday? That is something unimaginable. First round exit on Monday, losing to fourth seed Alexander Zverev in straight sets. Straight sets, that too, without any fight. And the first round itself, because it's a power game, we cannot have that power all the time. It was only the fourth time in 116 matches that the Spaniard had lost on Parisian clay, and the moment, more than any in recent times, had a valedictory feel to it. What does it mean? Symbolically, the writer is telling us he has won out of 116 matches, he lost only four times. And in a way, it shows that it is almost the fag end of his career. When something comes to an end, we use the term valedictory. In a way, it implies, it conveys a valedictory feel to it. That means it is time he retired. Ever since he suffered, now it provides a backdrop information. What could be the reason behind? One is the age factor, obviously. Ever since he suffered a hip injury, suffer usually takes, this is something very important, you have to listen very carefully. I always tell students, many educators do the same, suffer takes a preposition from. But we use a preposition from when we use the word suffer if it talks about something that goes on for some time, a few days, a few weeks. I had suffered, I'm suffering from a fever. I'm suffering from a fever. It means for a few days. But here, a hip injury, one time incident. Then you should not use a preposition from. In SBI, once they give a question, he suffered from, answer whether it is right or wrong. He suffered from a heart attack last year. Heart attack happens at one point, a few seconds. Beyond that, it doesn't go. Based on that, here we cannot use the preposition from. He suffered a heart attack last year. That is a correct sentence. Same way, ever since he suffered a hip injury at the 2023 Australian Open and missed the rest of the season, Nadal's tennis future has been a huge question mark. Something is good. Thanks for responding, Drugarao. A big question mark, a huge question mark means uncertain. For that, we also use one idiom. We say his future is at crossroads. His future is at crossroads means uncertain. The 22-time major champion, total Grand Slam titles won by him. The 22-time major champion hasn't been very optimistic himself. Hasn't been, which tense is this? Present perfect active voice, not passive voice. Hasn't been optimistic. Present perfect active voice. For he perhaps, here for means because he perhaps knows that at nearly 38 and with an injury ravaged body that has allowed him to play just 12 times this year, the end is near. This writer is expressing the views and ideas in a very creative manner. The end is near. How the sentence has been formed. It says two factors, one age factor, late 30s, the other ravaged body that has allowed him to play just 12 times this year. It is obvious that the end is near, career coming to an end. Yet, contrasting word, that has not stopped him from taking the court with childlike enthusiasm. He's still enthusiastic, like a child. He played in Barcelona, Madrid, and Rome, places where he has collectively secured 27 trophies. Soaking in the fans' adulation in what? Soaking in means to become wet, literal meaning. A lot, we say soak. But here, soaking in the fans' adulation means enjoying fans' adulation in what has come to resemble a much deserved victory lap. To be sure, Nadal has not closed the door on returning to his favorite stomping grounds on the red dirt in 2025. That means he has not given up and is going to hit the red dirt, means clay court. Here, clay court. Very difficult to play. Returning to his favorite stomping grounds on the red dirt in 2025. How can he do that? His immediate target is the 2024 Paris Olympics, whose tennis event will be held at Roland Garros in late July, early August. But there is little doubt coming to 2025, his immediate target is the 2024 Paris Olympics, whose tennis event will be held at Roland Garros in late July, early August. But here there's one important expression. But there is little doubt means what? No doubt. You have to recollect. I have told many a time. Little, a little, the little. But there's little doubt that the ground he once guarded with an iron fist. Fist means this is fist. Iron fist means a very strong. He is fertile means open to for an almighty. Josel means a lot of talented players to anoint a new king, to a new player may emerge as a number one, new number one. World number one Novak Djokovic, the 24-time major and three-time French Open champion, would have been the obvious favorite if his form had not nosedived. An important part from here to here. Tell me which tense, which conditional is that? Whenever you see the word if, you have to think of conditionals. Please respond which conditional is this? Would have been the obvious favorite if his form had not nosedived. He is without a title this season and has revamped, reshape, rebuild, revamp his entire support staff to jumpstart his year. Jannik Sinner and Carlos Alcaraz are both coming in after recovering from injuries. Past conditional, very good. Who is that? A bit difficult to make out. Still, I appreciate. Past conditional, an important conditional. In so many exams, they've given questions based on past conditional. Yes, Durga Rao. Little, a little, the little. And these are emerging players. Alexander Zverev, who won the Rome Masters, seems dialed in, but will have to deal with. That means he's also ready. Will have to deal with a domestic abuse trial in parallel. At the same time, he has to deal with accusation of domestic abuse. Means abusing the domestic help, means a servant. Casper Ruud, who won Barcelona and Geneva recently, will hope to go all the way after two straight runner-up finishes at Roland Garros. Again, emerging players. Now coming to women. Among women, three-time champion Iga Swiatek is an overwhelming favorite and is expected to be challenged, passive voice, by Arina Sabalenka and Coco Gauff. For India, coming to India, the singles challenge ended prematurely with Sumit Nagal's loss, but Rohan Bopanna and Yuki Bhambri will aim to fly the flag high with their respective doubles partners. Means they have different doubles partners. That's all for today. It's already 7 behind the schedule. Have a nice day. Do